Okay, now into detail. A monk, having gone into the forest or the foot of a tree or an empty room, sits down cross-legged, keeps the body upright, fixes his awareness in the area around the mouth. Around here, okay? A couple of things to note. Number one, isolation. You don't have to go to the forest. Singapore forest can be quite crowded. You can go into your empty room. Unless you are a very good practitioner and you can meditate anywhere, including the supermarket. But the odds are when you're new to this, or for most people, quiet is necessary. You need to find relative quiet so that you know you will not be disturbed. Okay? Sit down cross-legged. I know some people say, my legs cannot cross. It's okay. The idea here is upright. Keep the body upright. When you sit cross-legged, easier for the form to be upright. Okay? Then this one, fix your awareness. Take the attention, put it in the area around the mouth. I know that some people say, but we're supposed to look at one dot. No, Buddha said around here. Actually, do you know why around here? Because the intent is to use the breathing as a gateway to the mind. Okay? The breathing, you can see breathing faster than you can see mind. So the intent is for you to put your attention on an object that you can discern clearly. If you can discern the object clearly, you discern the object, nail the object properly, eventually the mind becomes clear. The attention, the awareness becomes clear to you. Mind is what you want. So by fixing awareness here, it is actually a prelude to eventually the mind emerging clear to you here. There is no need to look for the breath. I know, some people say, look for the breath here. No need, because some people can't find breath. Am I breathing? That is why some teachers actually don't look at the breath here. They look for here, and some even abdomen. It doesn't matter. The point is breathing. Because you look at what the Buddha say, you put your awareness in the area around the mouth here. With this awareness, he breathes in. With this awareness, he breathes out. Awareness, and you are aware of breathing. This is a verb. This is not a noun. Did you see this? Breathes in, he breathes out. Breathing in a deep breath, he understands, Sampajano, understands properly. I am breathing in a deep breath. Breathing out a deep breath, he understands properly. I am breathing out a deep breath. The point here is having a constant awareness. A constant awareness of the moment as you are experiencing it. So you are asked to pay attention to the moment of breathing. And you keep telling yourself, I am staying in the moment of breathing. This I am breathing in deep breath, breathing out deep breath, you can cut short. Breathing deep, breathing out long, whatever. You can cut it short. It doesn't have to be so many words. But the point is to get yourself to pay attention to the activity of that moment. Why is this necessary? Some of you will say, no need. For what? So leceh. In need. That's the reason why you keep falling asleep. For those of you who say, no need, you are likely to fall asleep. Why? This constant applying of attention, this constant applying is vitaka vichara. It's constant applying of attention to the moment. It generates energy in the mind for you to be able to pay attention, stay attentive. This energy is necessary for you to stay awake. Otherwise, when the piti comes, piti is delight. When that comes, there is a very high chance you will piti your way to sleep. Okay? So this constant, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, right here, breathing in, breathing out, sharp, a long breath, short breath, deep breath, shallow breath, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. You are forcing your mind, training your mind, taming your mind to stay with the moment and being clear about the moment. Don't have to push it too hard, just an observation only. Shallow breath, you understand, I am breathing in a shallow breath, breathing out a shallow breath. 2 words here, in or out, deep or shallow. That's all. But by doing this, by just doing this, registering the moment again and again and again, you will start to observe that your mind is staying alert. It's not going to fall asleep. The moment you let go of this, there is a decent chance you are going to fall asleep. You have to get it to a point when the mind stabilizes. But in the meantime, see what the Buddha said? He trains himself, filling the whole body, not form, not body, breath body. Filling the breath body, breathe in. Filling the breath body, breathe out. Meaning to say, when you look at the breath, right? When you're breathing in, are you able to see the full process? When you breathe out, are you able to observe the full process? The whole thing, okay? And start to observe the mind, the form coming down. Even your breathing stabilizes, your breathing calms down. This is what it means. Your breathing, the activities, everything starts to calm down and you are aware. I am not talking about rocket science here. This is very simple, but it has to be remembered. It has to be done like this. You want to stay alert, you want to stay awake, you want the mind to be clear as you meditate. This is the method to do it. Constantly applying energy to observing what's going on at that moment. Okay? Thus, he dwells observing body in body internally, and he dwells observing body in body externally, or he dwells observing body in body both internally and externally. This is seeing the breathing process as it is. Breath that comes out, breath that goes in, and it has whatever that it's doing in you. When it comes out, whatever it is, it's just expelled. Know the entire process. Basically, what the Buddha wants you to do at this point of the practice, this is the early stage of practice. This very early stage of practice. Every features of the breathing process, observe clearly. That's all he's saying. Every features of that breathing process, how the breath goes in, just observe features. As it comes out, observe the features. Observe, this is building mindfulness, sharpness of mindfulness. Okay? Thus he dwells, observing the phenomena of arising in the body. Thus he dwells, observing the phenomena of passing away in the body. Thus he dwells, observing the phenomena of arising and passing away in the body. Okay. When you see this breathing process, there is a start point and there is an end point. When you breathe, there is a start point. As you take in your first breath, that's your start point. When you breathe out, it is also a start of an end point. But the point here is, as you are observing this breathing, you are beginning to see things arising and things dissipating. They change. Because by now, if you're doing it correctly, by now, your mind is not chasing after thoughts, not chasing after sounds, or whatever external things that caught your attention. You are just focused in the moment of an activity that is going on. So the mind, as you observe the activity that is going on, you begin to see there is like a rhythm. Something comes, something dissipates, the next one comes along, it dissipates, it comes along, it dissipates. You are observing, arising, and passing away as it comes and dissipates. Catch it, note it, remember it, so that in future you can use it for reference. Okay? Do it right, and awareness is established. This is form. This is the body. This is rupa. Thus, he develops his awareness to such an extent there is mere understanding along with mere awareness. Okay, Earlier on, you were supposed to look at all the features clearly. Remember? See the body in the body as it is, all the features clearly. Over here, this point, he talks about the phenomenon of coming and going, coming up and passing away. Things come, things go, there is a certain rhythm. Over here, now that your awareness is sharp, because by now the awareness, your mindfulness, your sati should be very sharp. Now that your awareness is very sharp, you see for yourself this is a form, and then you start to let go a bit and start to be aware that this is a form. You're pulling back the camera lens. Instead of being caught up in the minute details, you can now pull back the lens and be aware that this is breath, this is breathing. This is a phenomenon of breathing. This is the form. Do you understand this? They are not the same. The point that I want to make is they are not the same. The first mindfulness, at the first level, when you set out to practice, when you are new to this practice, you have to learn it into the finite details. Observe all features of it to practice the sharpness of the mind to spot things. You practice so hard, at some point, you begin to see a certain rhythm. It comes and it goes. You're seeing a certain rhythm. This is observing the rhythm. Whatever arises, fades away. Whatever arises, fades away. You're seeing a rhythm. The mind must recognize that. This is when the mind, because you are now so clear, you can pull back. Now you see big picture. The word here is mere understanding and mere awareness. You know it is happening, and you must know, the mind must know that I am now just observing. The mind is just observing. The mind must know that. There are 3 different levels of seeing. Your mind must learn the skill to see all 3 levels. You don't start with the highest level, the strategic level. You don't start with that. You have to start at the primary school level. You have to start with the what I call the worm view. Worm view, see the soil, see the sand, see the molecules on the ground. You have to learn that one first. Because if you don't learn that one first, and you kepo go to do the strategic one, you will never have the sharpness of mind to see how the mind works. You understand that? There are 3 different levels of seeing, 3 different levels of mindfulness. Know all 3. And the mind must know for itself what you are doing why you are doing, which level of awareness you are experiencing at that moment. In this way, he dwells detached without clinging towards anything in the world. This is how a monk dwells observing body in body. You see, in this way, he dwells detached. But he's able to dwell detached only because he got to this point. Do you get it? If you haven't got to this point of seeing, right, it is not possible to be detached without clinging towards anything in the world. Do I have to repeat? When you learn the method of mindfulness watching, when you set out, you need to train the mind to be able to see things sharply, very sharply. You have to be able to catch very subtle features. Because of that, you have to, when you're using breathing, the breath, when you're using that, you need to observe very closely, very carefully, what happens when you breathe in, observe it. When you breathe out, observe it. Go into detail. The breath, when it goes in this way, this is my physical sensations, these are my experiences, I am observing these features, you just note details. At some point, when it becomes clear to you that all these detailed features actually arises and falls away. That's all it is. Whatever you see that comes out, next minute it's gone. And you start seeing change, the phenomenon of change, conditionality, if you like. I use big words now. You're seeing features of change. You start to observe, the lens is now being pulled back, and you are no longer just being trapped in detailed features. You are now seeing patterns, trends, arising, falling away, arising, falling away. Don't get to this state before you learn how to see in details. And there is no timeline. There is no such thing as, I need to do this 3 years. Then after that, do this 2 years. And then finally, mere awareness 1 year. There's no timeline. It is for your mind to learn for itself how detailed it can get, how much details it can see. And then, as you begin to take one step back, maintain a certain distance, and you begin to see patterns becomes obvious to you. You know your mind is ready to look at patterns. Okay? And then you realize that actually I'm being too caught up. I am being too caught up with the object I'm supposed to see. I need to pull back even more. When you pull back even more, you develop awareness that there is all these phenomena going on, but you are not caught up in the object. This is a state of mind that you need to recognize. Yourself recognizing, I am seeing a seeing process. I am seeing an awareness process. There is a certain detachment, you are aware of the distance. Must recognize that. Once your mind is at this level of distant awareness, when your mind is at this level, then your mind is able to see all arising phenomena as just arising and fading away. That is how your mind develops detachment to whatever arising or fading away phenomena there are. It's just detached. It's just coming and going, coming and going. So that was pertaining to breathing. Breathing. Now, take this mindfulness, the 3 skills, the 3 different levels of awareness, the 3 different levels of skill. Now you take it and apply it in daily life. whether you are wandering around, he does so with constant means you don't stop. It continues. Thorough, constant is time. Thorough is depth. Thorough understanding of impermanence. Remember part 2, when you're looking at pattern of change, that is when you are supposed to have spotted and understood change, condition change. So now that you have spotted and understood change, right? Can you apply that awareness and that knowledge into whatever activities that you are doing in daily life? Yes, he did. So now he has to apply that knowledge, that understanding, that realization, the insight in daily life. So whether he's looking ahead, looking sideways, he does so with the constant, thorough understanding of impermanence. So as you eat, right, what you are observing initially when you are eating, you're tasting all the dotted parts, touch, contact, perception, all the details. Then you realize that actually it changes. Once you realize it's changing, the knowledge has sunk in, the insight, the realization sunk in. Next time when you eat, change. Aware, just aware of it. No need to keep talking aloud. People will wonder why you're talking. Change. No need to do that. Just be aware of it. Just be aware, okay? Where you are bending, stretching, wearing robe, whatever it is, this is all daily life. So in your daily life, you become very mindful that change. You are experiencing moments of change, okay? All activities, whatever that you do, the practice, the Buddha's method requires you to apply the awareness of impermanence, apply that awareness, that insight into your daily life, your daily activities. You know, when you keep doing this to yourself, when you keep doing this to your mind, the mind will start to develop a fresh perspective about life. Okay? You have all your assumptions about life. You have all those assumptions. You have lived through 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 years with that assumption. Buddha is introducing a concept into your mind, a concept that is not he tells you. It's a concept you realize for yourself, because when you were being mindful, you caught it. Now he's saying, this is a concept you caught. If you do not pay attention to it, it will fade away in your mind. After all, you have 50 years, 60 years of behaving in a certain way. How are you going to overcome that habit? That perspective, your eternal perspective comes with you. You have been doing it for so long. How do you overcome this? You can overcome it only if you conscientiously, deliberately keep telling yourself, my current perspective is a delusion. It's fake. It's mind-made. It's not real. It's all imagination. I need to change this habit. Your mind has to then develop a new habit. And this new habit has to be, in the same way you learn to ride a bicycle, has to be constantly drummed in. And the first thing which is most obvious in in our practice, the thing that is most obvious is impermanence. It stares at you in the mind. And it's not too dangerous, it's just impermanence. So you apply that and put it into daily life. Impermanence. So as you are being mindful, I repeat this, when we talk about mindfulness, it is not mindfulness in that activity. Don't make that mistake. It is mindfulness of impermanence in activities. Do not make the mistake. What is the mistake? You go home having picked up the skill of watching closely and you continue watching closely. That's not what the Buddha said. It is watching closely first when you set out until you spot impermanence as a feature of the mind. Then you must let that feature become a part of your daily activities. So as you are being mindful, you're mindful that this is change. This is just change, no big deal. Just things are changing. Things don't last. Things don't continue. Whatever thoughts that arise, whatever feeling that arises, it will fade away. It will come and it will go. It will come and it will go. So your mindfulness is mindfulness of impermanence. Okay? If you had read Satipatthana Sutta carefully, you would have spotted it. But there is a decent chance that because there's so much repetition, people just skip lines. So they didn't spot it. Okay?